So it's been ages. I'm walking in town. You get through here, yeah? So basically, my dad needs to pick up his prescription from the doctors, so I thought I'd walk with him. And then we're gonna nip to a cafe and get a sandwich for breakfast. So this is it. I'm going in. Back out to the high street. So we're walking down the main street. Haven't done this for a while, but it's weird. I'll tell you. Okay. So I'm in the town. My dad just nipped across the road to go to the toilet. The cafe is just behind me. You can see it out there. So I'm gonna go in there, order a bacon, sausage, tomato sandwich. I don't need it. Look at this. I'm putting on weight again. But I'm hungry. It's breakfast. We're out. I shall tell you more. This is the first video I've done in ages where I've been out and about, but I've got some interesting findings and I shall share them with you once I get home, once I've eaten the sandwich, and we'll talk more about how I've been feeling and stuff. But obviously I'll try and get a bit of footage in the cafe. It's an old proper greasy spoon cafe, so it's going to be fun. I know. Oh dear. Looking out the window. Sit down. Oh, we wait. Nah. This is it. Proper greasy spoon cafe. There's not many people in here, just a few around the corner. I'm good. Oh, so I've been to the cafe. I've been to the doctor's with my dad to pick up his prescription this morning. You know, parked in town, walked. Basically what we did, we parked between the cafe and the doctor's. So we parked there, walked up to the doctor's, down one of the main streets. It's not the actual high street. I know I said high street on the video, but it's not the high street. It's like the street just off the back of it, but it's the main road that runs alongside the high street. Very busy. It's where my daughter goes to dancing, so I drive there pretty much every day to drop her off. It's just that I never get out of the car when I'm there. So this morning, I'd arranged to go for a walk with my dad, just to do something, just to try and get out of the house. So we spoke this morning and I suggested, like, I knew that he needed to pick up his prescription, so I thought, let's go and grab a bacon, sausage, tomato sandwich from the local greasy spoon. And that's what we did. So we parked in between the doctor's and the cafe. I don't know, 150 yards, 200 yards either way. So like we'd walk for a couple of minutes in one direction to go to the doctor's, get his prescription, and we was in there, I don't know, 3-4 minutes. And then out of there, walk down. My dad nipped to the toilet. That was when I sat in the car for a second. He went across to the toilet, came back, and then we both went to the cafe, ordered, sat there, in there. We could have probably sat and ate in there, but I don't know. I just wanted to come home and eat, and it wasn't because of anxiety, it was just because that was what I wanted to do, so that's what we did. But as I said earlier on the video, I've noticed something really, really different, and I haven't been getting out and doing as much as I'd like to, or whether I'd like to or not, I don't know. I'm really struggling with that at the moment, as to whether I actually want to go and do stuff, because I'm quite happy doing what I'm doing. I'm working hard from home, I'm doing a lot of things, I'm playing on the PlayStation, you know, as and when I want to. I'm doing what I like and what I want. So there's nothing really recently that's come up that I've felt that I should. So like, I don't know, maybe my daughter's dancing and stuff like that. That's going to be a test. because that's something that I really want to do, but something that I felt that I haven't been able to. But currently, there's not really anything that I want to do. You know what I'm going with, you know what I'm saying. But yesterday morning, me, my wife, my son went for breakfast, and we got up in the morning, like I was awake early for some crazy reason, I don't know, just after 8, which is early for me, believe me. And I messaged my wife, who was downstairs, and said, like, let's go for breakfast. And she said, yeah, don't mind. So I got up, woke my lad, and we went for breakfast. And it was later than we have been going. So when we've gone in the past, we've gone straight from dropping my daughter at school at like 8:30 in the morning. So we get there just before 9 and it's deserted. Well, this time we got there, and as soon as we pulled into the car park, I could see that it was busier. I could instantly see that there's more people here than we've ever seen. And we went in, and the table that we sat at the previous 2 times that we've been, that was taken. So we'd walked in that direction, and I just carried on past it. So we're now like deep into the pub for the breakfast, and we're at the furthest table that you can possibly get to. And it's something, yeah, it did play on my mind a little. And then we sat, and then my wife went to order with my son, and I just sat there, and I didn't feel too bad. And then basically you make your own toast while you're waiting for your breakfast. So you just put your toast in, you get all your sugar and your salt and sauce and all that crap. And I could see my wife was struggling, and this was like over the other side of the pub. So usually I would just let her struggle, and like she'd have to make 2 or 3 journeys, like one with the drinks, and then she'd go back, do the toast and that, come back. But I looked over and I could see, and I just went over there, and I felt completely at ease. Like no jelly legs, no weird dizzy sensations, nothing like that. It was really, really just calm. Then we came back, sat at the table, and this is where I've noticed the change, and although I haven't done a lot of stuff, the stuff that I have done, this is the change that I've noticed, and it's really, really, well, it's key for me. Like, I recognise that this is happening, so I do ultimately understand that I need to just change this one thing, and I feel like I'm definitely on a different path. But the one thing that I've noticed, let's cut to the chase, stop talking crap, is that while I was sitting there waiting for the food to be delivered, and while I was eating and stuff like that, I couldn't control my thoughts. My thoughts were just like, I was bombarding myself with what ifs and all this crap, and I feel uncomfortable, and I feel this, and what if this happens, and how am I going to get to the exit, like we're further away than normal, and all that kind of normal crap that fills my head and makes me feel anxious. But the difference being, so that was the same, that was pretty much the same as normal. The difference was that I didn't feel the weird sensations. Like usually when I have those thoughts and it's just escalating and escalating and reaching the point of like, I need to bail out of here. And I did reach that point yesterday, but the difference was that I just didn't feel weird. I weren't getting the dizziness. My legs didn't feel like jelly. I weren't getting like, I don't know, you know those sensations that we always talk about, like the breathing, noticing your heart pounding, just a feeling disorientated and vision issues and all that kind of stuff. None of it happened, and it was really odd. Like I was sitting there and I was looking out the window, or the window was just to my left, and I was just looking there and just thinking like, usually at this moment, like the thoughts are escalating, I need to get out. How am I going to get out? Now I've got to go. And I was looking out the window and I was just thinking, what's going on? Like I'm having these thoughts, but I'm not feeling the adrenaline maybe. I'm not feeling the urge and the pushing and the weird sensations that make me want to bail out. So it was really, really odd. And then once we'd finished eating and that, I'd started to calm the thoughts. And I can't say calm the feelings because there was nothing. I was getting a bit warm in there, but like when you go in places, when it's cold like it is now, and the weather's cold, establishments have their heating on. So it's like difficult. You get used to being out in the cold, and then you go into a shop or a restaurant or whatever, and then you start overheating. And you start loosening, like taking scarves off and coats and stuff. But I didn't. I just sat there. Like I had this on, my snood thing, and I didn't have a coat on anyway, but I was definitely feeling warmer. But that was just like I was eating, And it was just weird. But the fact that I didn't really have any physical sensations, the one thing, and it always gets me when I'm eating out, is when you're eating and it's a vision thing, so when you're focusing on the fork and bringing it up, and whether I go cross-eyed or whatever when I'm eating, and then like the leaning forward because you don't want to spill your freaking beans everywhere. That's the only thing that I could say that I was conscious of, like the motion of me leaning forward to eat. But it was nothing, it was normal. And it's really odd. And it's took me a long time to get this video for me to actually say that. But I haven't done this for ages. But it's just really interesting. So like the last 2 days, I went for breakfast yesterday in a pub that was busier than normal, and I didn't bail out, and everything was fine, and I had orange juice because I wouldn't have tea because I knew that it weren't going to be decaf. So that's something interesting, and I know, like in the podcast videos, that I've mentioned the decaf thing so many times, but what else can it be? What else is it that's stopping me from feeling the flustery feeling, like the weak jelly legs, the pounding heart? Yeah, I've been getting a bit breathless recently, but I've had a bit of a cold, like bunged up, bit of a dry throat as well. But like even that's not bothering me. The only thing, the reason that we didn't do a podcast last week was because of my back. So I woke up on the Thursday morning and everything was fine, and I came downstairs and I was making myself a cup of tea and my back just froze and I literally couldn't move, and it was taking my breath away and it was freaking me out, and I was like close to panic for the first hour of it. But then I just went and lay down for like half an hour, then came down, and for a couple of days my back was hurting. But the initial shock had sort of gone after a few hours, I guess, but it was still painful. And that was why we didn't do the podcast, was because I just couldn't face sitting in this chair and talking and being comfortable and trying to just ignore the pain, because it was genuinely painful. But that seems to have eased. So that was nothing major. But I was having those negative thoughts again, like, what if this is something serious now? But again, time is the greatest healer, and just leaving it like 2-3 days and it's gone and I'm okay now. So it's weird. But the fact that, like, when I'm doing stuff at the moment, and I'm not even going to call it exposure, because I'm just trying to be normal, so I'm not really basing this on me having to go out to push myself and stuff like that. I'm really trying to just focus on the stuff that I want to do. Maybe, yes, when it comes to doing stuff like my daughter's dancing, because that's the one thing that really, it bothers me. It makes me feel guilty because she's progressing and I'm missing it, and I'm missing out on everything that she's doing, and she's making huge strides in that. And like, my wife goes to every freaking dance competition, and I should be there, at least for one of them. So that's my real goal for I think the next, like, festival thing, dance festival, is March maybe, or February next year. So that for me is like, that is where I want to be able to go. And that's going to be the true exposure, because I want to do it and I'm fearful of it. And it's something that I don't really think there's anything that I can do to help myself feel better about it. So I'm just going to try and make myself generally feel better by doing things I enjoy, doing things I like. We're like 13 minutes into the video, so I'm going to end it there. But this has been like an update of where I've been at. I've been doing what I want to do and enjoying what I want to do. And who knows, I don't know, maybe I'm just a boring old sod that doesn't really want to go out and do all these other things. Maybe, yes, I should, because I'm restricted in doing things that I want to do. But I don't know, it's a real tough one. I just plan on continuing to just do what I want, and hopefully in doing that, because I feel happier in myself, that it will make these things easier. But I also think, like, I can't put enough weight on the issue, and I'm not, like, promoting or trying to sell decaf tea bags or cut down on the coffee and that. But for me personally, it feels like, I mean, let me just break this down. I know I'm rabbiting, but like, I've done things in the past, like taken vitamin Bs, I've done like exercise on the treadmill, stuff like that. I've tried having earlier nights and getting better sleep. I've tried like doing mindfulness. I've tried yoga, maybe not long term, but I've tried all these things. And what I normally find is that when I do them, like I'll feel good for a bit, but then something will happen and it'll set me back, and then I'll start feeling the sensations and all that crap again. And there's no saying that that's not going to happen tomorrow. But for the last, I don't know, what's it been? It's been over a month, I think. It's probably close to a month. It may be longer that I haven't had caffeine, and I haven't really felt major anxiety symptoms in that period. Yes, I've had major anxiety thoughts and worries and what ifs and questioning, and it's horrible, but it seems to be thoughts and major thoughts, and that's all it seems to be. And I can live with that for now, because I would feel that over time maybe the thoughts will begin to subside, because it was the feelings that always made the thoughts come usually. Now I'm just living off the memory of what's happened in the past and fearing those feelings, but the feelings aren't coming, so long may that continue. That's the end. I'm done with rabbiting. We're out.